Okay. Almost. Got to check this again. Got to make sure we've got sound on. Check, check, check. Sound is on. Excellent. All right. What's up? What's up? What's up? Coach Bruce is in the studio. Um, I saw something really interesting today that made me think I wanted to talk more about this idea of ADHD as a superpower. Also, want to welcome Instagram viewers because they have finally made it easier to stream to multiple apps and include Instagram in that. So I'm really excited to have Instagram as part of my invisible audience. So, but I wanted to talk about this idea of ADHD as a superpower. I say it all the time. The things about me that I think are the strongest character traits, um, the best skills I have to offer to the world are things that are either encouraged by or attributed to my ADHD. The fact that I like to hyper focus and gain skills quickly. The fact that I'm like project based really well because I hyper focus and the fact that I'm honest to a fault because I have a lowered social filter, and that's something that can be both a strength and a weakness. But I've worked on it to where it's more a strength than a weakness. And I was thinking about this thought of this superpower, and I could see how a lot of people who have struggled with ADHD could say, "Well, that's certainly not a superpower for me." And so I went deeper into that thought. I thought, well, if you think of any X-Man or any like meta-human, when they first discover this new ability, it feels more like a curse than a positive thing because they have, Cyclops, for example, has lasers coming out of his eyes. He couldn't open his eyes because he couldn't control this extremely powerful force that was coming from his eyes every time he opened them. That sounds really, really stressful, kind of terrifying. Oh man, you have to actually press go live on Instagram. Uh, so, um, once again, welcoming the Instagram audience, but I'm talking about the idea of ADHD as a superpower. Um, Whenever you say it, it sounds like a cliche, but when you think about superheroes of the past, you know, pretty much any one that is born with the superpower deals with some process of trying to um, rein that power in to develop and cultivate it to become something that is actually useful for them. Before the Hulk could be a superhero, he was and he wasn't even born with it, but he was destroying everything he touched because he couldn't control the power. What a lot of people who have ADHD don't consider about this power that we have is that you have to train it. You have to cultivate it. You have to pay attention to it. First, you have to acknowledge it as something that is not holding you back. It's something that is giving you unlimited potential. And if you look at it as so, then you can then start to cultivate it. You can start to train to see what strengths that you can bring out due to that. Whenever Billy Batson got the Shazam, he had to find out what he could do. He had to push himself, with the help of a friend to figure out what things this new power that he had found enabled him to do. If you look at ADHD and you talk about all the things it disables you from, all the things that it is holding you back from, all the obstacles that you are facing because of your ADHD, that's all you'll ever see. All you'll ever see is ADHD as an albatross that you have to carry. For me, sometimes it's an albatross, but most of the time it is something that has really benefited my life. I love learning. I love learning new things. I love gaining new skills. I love improving myself because it's fun. And that is to me a very ADHD thing because I like digging deep into things. I like having deep, really genuine, authentic conversations because my social filter is not, it's not on like a neurotypical person's. So that to me makes me a really good coach because I want to hear your pains and I want to empathize with them and I want to talk about your deepy darkies and help you problem solve with those things Whereas if I had a filter, like I might feel awkward about hearing your deepest, darkest secrets. I don't feel that awkwardness. I'm excited to hear it and see if there's a way that I can help you find a solution to some of your problems. Um, so the thing that remains is if you see it as a problem, you are never going to be able to optimize the potential that's there. If you look at it as a superpower and you try your best to actually train it, you have to practice. It's like anything, any other skill that you want to have, you have to practice. You have to apply it in the way that you want to see it used and get better at doing that. It's not just going to happen for you. There are things that are going to be an inclination one way or the other. That doesn't mean that's how it's set forever. If you practice and you train and you keep showing up and trying your best, you are going to find that you start to improve towards what you were trying to get at. And once again, as I talk about all the time, you have to know what you're trying to do in order to do anything that's actually helpful for that. You're going to get lucky every now and then if you don't have a plan and you're just going to do something that is beneficial for you. Great. Are you actually going to be able to optimize that if you don't know what you were doing or what you did to get the beneficial thing and then how to use the beneficial thing to get you farther in life? No, you have to have a plan. You have to make decisions based off of more than just how you feel at the moment. And that means that you have to lay the foundation outside of emotion to make your decision making framework obvious to you, even when you're deeply in constant emotion, both happy or sad, mad, whatever. You should be operating outside of that. I don't want people to think that I'm, so focused on these things that emotion shouldn't count. No, emotion should factor in, but only after you have that foundation to make logical decisions based on what you want for your life. If you have that, and then you also can see how things make you feel and compare them against something else versus just like, because emotions, talk about this all the time. The ADHD brain, the anxiety brain, the depressive brain, they all want to lie to us and tell us things that aren't true. And they're really, really, really easy to believe when you don't have a foundation to check it against. That foundation is there to keep your brain from lying to you and say, this is what's actually important to me. And then if you are having strong feelings one way or the other, you can stay within that framework and work within that framework as your emotions are moving you. That is it today. Keeping it short, keeping it sweet. Really happy that I can now do this on Instagram as well, but I hope that it doesn't just add one more thing for me to forget about. So once again, I talk about it all the time, but if you are struggling to communicate and you have ADHD, or honestly, I've been talking to some of my clients, anxiety, depression, these are all things that your brain lies to you. And the process that I take my clients through helps a lot to deal with determining what your reality is and what you should be making your decisions upon versus how you feel in the moment. So you should check out the 9 ways for the ADHD dad to radically improve communication, and that will help you communicate with intention and authority, whether it's through ADHD or anxiety or depression. If your mind has a tendency to lie to you, it is so important that you have a foundation and you are able to communicate that foundation to the people who are important to you. Also, if you need help building that foundation, check out the How to Life workbook that I made. And all these are linked in my bio. You can get them, and they are extremely, extremely, what's the word I was looking for? Reasonably priced. They're totally reasonably priced. It's not going to cost you that much, but it can make a huge difference in your life. And I want that for every person who struggles with the brain lies. I just came up with that. I don't know if I like it, but everybody have a fantastic evening. I will see you tomorrow. Be yourself and love yourself. Until then,